Welcome to the Digital Rapport Podcast. I'm Jatinder Palaha and welcome to the new setup. So on today's episode, I just wanted to share my journey of my podcast so far. I first started it in 2016. It was an idea that came to me while I was with a business mentor, a guy called Sukhi Wahiwala, my brother, my mentor, my coach. And we were sitting down having a conversation about the universe, having one of those deep moments. And he said something to me. He said, Tinder, everything in the universe is trying to be in rapport with each other. It was just that one line when he said that, it just kind of all unpacked in my head thinking, wow, the Digital Rapport Podcast. And that's how it basically started. Then what I wanted to do with the podcast was interview experts around the concept of rapport. What is it offline? Then how does that translate online? And just like Napoleon Hill, when he went around interviewing experts about the concept of wealth building, he interviewed them to find out what the common thread was, how to go about wealth creation. And he put a book together called Think and Grow Rich, which is an amazing book. And, kind of inspired by that, thinking, you know what, I'm going to interview experts around the concept of rapport because, rapport is a interesting skill to have. And having thought about this and getting in touch with various experts about rapport, I wanted to find out what it was, how does it work, and then how we can basically not only offline, but then translate that online. So hence why I went around interviewing experts on the subject of rapport. I've had amazing guests from all around the world, basically. It's been a bit of a process. I mean, one of the challenges with the podcast is when you're trying to do an interview with someone and you bring them down into a room like this, you have to arrange it with them. And that can be a bit of a challenge because your schedules won't always match up. When they don't match up, then it's a bit tricky trying to do it, so they could get delayed and whatnot. I remember approaching Dr. John DeMartini once at one of his events many, many years ago. And we were just in the line having a conversation, waiting to see him. And I said to him, I would love to do a podcast with you one day. He said, yeah, sure, reach out to the team and we'll make it happen. The kind of time frame from that point to when it actually happened did take a bit of a while, but it was out there in the universe. And a good friend of mine, Manmeet Chowdhury, managed to connect it with the team, make it happen, and then got Dr. John DeMartini on the podcast as well. So there's lots of interesting stories along the way around how I got certain guests and whatnot. One of the first podcasts I did was with Sifu Lakloy, and we were talking about martial mind power. So it was about rapport, communication skills, what he does in his workspace, what he does with his classes, while he teaches martial arts and things like that. And that was a very interesting conversation as well. One of the things I wanted to do was when I'm interviewing the experts, I wanted to see if there was a common thread, something that pops up in everybody's conversation about what is rapport and how it works. Because once you got enough data, I suppose, on a particular topic, you could start to see the patterns. And when you have those patterns, then you can systemize it and put it into some sort of format approach. And I have to say that does happen. You do see a pattern emerging. There is a sequence of events. There are certain things you can do in order to connect with yourself and connect with others in a better way. And slowly, I'll be unpacking them. And if you haven't seen any of the interviews so far, definitely go to the Digital Rapport channel and have a listen to those podcasts, because regardless, there's so much knowledge and information in there about communication, about connecting, that you'll find it useful at some level anyway, whether it's family, friends, life generally. It's very insightful. So I started the podcast in 2016, and it's been a while. When I started it, I heard a podcast by a internet marketer who basically said he just went out to do 50 podcasts. And by the end of the 50 podcasts, he had found his voice. He found a way to talk and just increase his skill. And that for me was a very important thing. When I heard that, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I don't care whether anybody listens to the podcast or how many people. If people do listen to it, that'd be a bonus. But I suppose what's in it for me was I wanted to be able to have conversations with people in a just efficient and effective way. And one of the ways I did that was to put myself in it. and just get on with it and do it. So sometimes in life, you just have to get on with it. You just have to do things. And there's that analogy of growing your wings on the way down, meaning that, if you're pushed over the edge, like a brand new bird that is born will be pushed out of its nest in order to learn to fly. As I would reach out to people and individuals because I wanted to interview them, I would just hire out a room. Initially, I would just hire out a room, get the cameras in, put the lights up, record it, did some interviews, some in hotels, some in people's rooms and houses, just get out there and basically do those podcasts. And along the way, I just had a little dream saying that I would love to have my own kind of setup, and hence how this has come about. I tried before COVID many times to get an office room set up, put it so I can actually get 4 guests into a room and put the podcast out there. But for some reason, just before, it's a funny story because I was looking for rooms. I found a room and then went there and signed up for the office as well. First day I went in there and the walls were so thin. It was unbelievable. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I could hear everything that was going on in the room next door. So I approached the guy that we had booked the room with and I said, you know what, I can't do this here. This ain't going to work because it's just too noisy. I hadn't realized it. So I would like to cancel the contract. Fortunately, he said, yeah, no problem, and cancelled it. Got my refund on everything that we had put in there. And like 2 weeks later, COVID hit. And I was like, wow, how crazy is that? I would have been committed to a space that I might not have been able to use because of all the lockdowns and everything that was going on. Anyway, fast forward, got back out there again and just been working from home for such a long time. Around roughly 15 years ago, we had this office space in this particular building where originally I set up. And funnily enough, after everything, we came back to the same place and got the same room initially and basically converted that into this podcast space. It's just one of those things that I had like on a bucket list that I wanted to do. And now that I've done it, I've put it out there and think, okay, that's another one checked off the list. And now, I'm just going to do my best to record as much content and put it out there. But at the same time, let others, my clients, customers, use the space as well if they need to create something like a content day where they can either do half day, record as much content as they want, put it out there full day, just so that they can have a space to do something like this and put it out there, right? What's also interesting is that I've got about 55 at the time of this recording podcast out there. This is probably the first video solo podcast that I'm doing. So I've got 2 types of podcasts, right? One is like just audio only, and they're on the channel and pushed out all the different platforms. And then I have the interviews, which are either through Zoom or in-person interviews. And those are on YouTube. But this is the first one I'm doing in the room where I'm actually doing a solo video podcast. So this is the first solo video podcast that I'm doing in this space just for you, right? So hopefully you'll get a bit of insights on there. Now, what's been the biggest benefit is when I set out there to do 50 podcasts, the whole goal was just to record them, put it out there, get better at talking, just because I wanted to do that. It was something that I wanted to improve within myself. When it comes to personal development, that was one of the things I wanted to do. And funnily enough, you end up doing that. I've been told when I was younger, I used to do my own little radio shows on cassette recorders and with sound effects and all that kind of stuff. And I was looking back on that thinking, where did that stop? When did that stop? Why did that stop? Why did that change? Like, what in my life changed where I didn't carry that on? So to some degree, yes, I think I'm living out that pathway that could have happened way back, maybe. But as they say, everything happens at the right time. I will also put a video together where I'll just show you how we put this room together, the little snippets, which I'll probably might do on a separate video after this. I'm not sure. Let's see how that goes. So nothing is scripted. It's all off the cuff. I got like 4 or 5 points that I wanted to make, which I'm sharing. Just wanted to sit here and record this. Well, actually, what happened was I had 3 martial artists earlier on today. Sifu Lakloy, Sifu Horrendous from the US, Sifu Vic from the UK, from Slough. And Harinder was over from the States. We heard through the grapevines that he's going to be around, and we just rearranged the day to get him down and have a podcast. So that was a great listening. Lak was interviewing him, and Vic was interviewing him, and he was only here for the day. He's going to fly out tomorrow. Literally did that earlier on today, so that was a bit of fun. And I'm just rambling on a bit just to share with you and just show, like, if you want to do something, just do it. What's the worst that can happen, right? So as I'm recording this, I'm making tons of mistakes, messing up, whatnot. There's always that fear that, oh, what am I going to do? How's this content? But, the magic of editing, just hack all that out. So when you're left with the cut at the end, it's going to be a shorter version of something I might spend ages doing and putting together. So this podcast was just to share a little bit about what I'm up to at the moment and just that journey of doing a podcast and a few of the challenges that come up through it, how to develop this further. One of the things is the lighting, man. It's like when you're getting this stuff done, there's cameras, there's lighting, there's equipment, there's so much stuff that you have to think about, put together, and then you have to learn it, right? You have to learn how best to do the lighting. I had no idea if this is going to come out great. I'm just messing around. But it's just one of those things. That's how I personally learn, is through experiment. Just get things together, just do it and test it and put it out there. Because you have to start at some point. You have to start with something. But if you keep on waiting, it'll never get done. So it's better to just start. And then you improve over time. Consistency over time just makes you better at anything that you do. So the best thing to do is just start. So I'm just sitting here thinking, what else shall I share? What else can I have a conversation about? If you want to be on the podcast, reach out. If you know other people who are subject matter experts, who are masters at what they do, and they are in communications, digital marketing, business and personal development, anything along the lines of that, put them in touch, show them my podcast, reach out. I'd love to get experts on, interview, and just keep growing the channel and sharing the amazing knowledge I come into contact with. Is so powerful. I'm so fortunate to be in a circle of very healed individuals who are coaches, consultants, and authors. That network that we've created over the years and the type of people we have, the conversation I have are amazing. And I'm thinking, I just want to share that with the world, because there's so much you can learn. There's so much you can do with that knowledge and information. And I just hope that I can bring that out and just add my little bit to inspiring humanity. So, all authentic, as you can see, nothing planned, nothing pitched, it's just off the cuff, just been a long day, knackered, tired, but just thought, you know what, let's just do this and see where it goes. So if you got any questions, reach out. If you want to learn more, reach out. If you know people that you think would be great for the podcast, put them in touch, share it. Was it like, share, and comment? No, like, comment, and share, right? That's it. That's me signing out. I'm just going to edit this afterwards, crop it down, get rid of all of my mistakes and everything, and give you probably a shorter version of this. So on that note, I'll see you on the next one, and signing out. Okay, I'm done. Time cut. Let's go home. Been a long day. Thank you very much.